And it was in March that Churchill Alemao, being a member of the Lok Sabha of the Congress party, continued his attack against the party, as he was all set to form a new political outfit called the Save Goa Front. He was also being wooed by his own partymen not to do so. Hence, Churchill made 6 demands for reconsidering his decision to quit the party. The demands were: scrap Regional Plan 2011, scrap Special Economic Zones, grant equal status to Roman script, reserve constituencies for STs, scrap expressway proposal, scrap Mopa Airport and upgrade Dabolim Airport. The credibility of the Congress took a beating when 87 casual workers of the health department complained to Mapsa police that a Congress member had demanded and accepted Rs 34 lakhs for regularization of their services. Sirish Naik, an office bearer of the North Goa District Congress Committee, was named as the main accused in the case, opened a can of worms with his disclosure that he had accepted the money at the behest of the then Health Minister Dayanand Narvekar. And at the same time, the accused also roped in AICC General Secretary, then in charge of Goa Desk, Margaret Alva, as the alleged benefactor of the donation. He was subsequently expelled from the party. Goa government employees brought the state administration to a standstill with a pen-down strike against government inaction to settle their demands. Though the employees attended their respective offices, they refused to carry out any official work. Their demands were: transport allowance for C and D category, restoration of leave encashment, stoppage of re-engaging of retired officer on contract basis, washing allowance for PWD, river navigation, agriculture, health, ITIs, forest department workers, field allowance for PWD, meter readers, plumbers, supervisors, labor, work assistants and samplers. On 16 March, the government accepted most of their demands, but the common man was put to great hardship. Goa, which is rated as the second state in the country to achieve 100% literacy, but this year an act of a prestigious school in the capital city of Panjim marked our place in the Hall of Shame. Around 150 higher secondary students were made to answer their board exam on a terrace top. Goa Board of Secondary and Higher Secondary Education Secretary K.K. Nadkarni admitted the problem and also admitted inadequate infrastructure to hold examinations. Members of the Muslim community undertook a hunger strike to demand fulfillment of their long-standing demand, which is acquisition of more land to increase their burial grounds. Group of Muslims under the banner of Blood of Goans undertook the protest in front of the South Goa Collectorate building to draw attention of the public. And as the assembly elections were knocking on the doors, the move had the right effect. Hordes of politicians came a-calling. Ironically though, this was one of the issues on the manifestos of most of the politicians for many elections, which till date remains unfulfilled. Politics, they say, is dynamic and not static. And this came through when Maharashtra-Vadi Gomantak Party ideologue Dr. Kashinath Jalmi, along with many MGP workers including former MLAs Vishnu Prabhu and Shivdas Verenkar, joined the Congress. Following them was another former MGP, Mohan Amshikar, who had joined the BJP, also joined the Congress party. At the same time, independent MLA Philip Neri Rodriguez also came into the Congress fold. End of March saw leader of opposition Manohar Parrikar take on the Advocate General Subodh Kantak. While terming the AG as incompetent, he alleged that Mr. Kantak was being paid over 1 crore rupees and termed it a loot of the treasury. Mr. Kantak retorted by pointing out that the payment was made as per revised rate recommended by Parrikar himself when he was the Chief Minister.
The SEZ Virodi Manch organized a presentation on the land scam that is associated with SEZs. In a PowerPoint presentation, they tried to put forward before the public the land loot orchestrated by the GIDC.
They claim that land acquired by GIDC for expansion of Vedna Industrial Estate Phase 4 for industrial purpose invoking urgency clause was handed over to the promoters of SEZs. The said land is not marked as SEZ in Regional Plan 2001 and neither has the land been acquired for purpose of setting up SEZ nor the change of purpose of acquisition notified. GIDC is a land developing authority which acquires land, develops the same and thereafter allots the plots, whereas herein GIDC has acquired the land for industrial purpose and allegedly handed over the same to the other real estate developers, thereby defeating the very purpose of GIDC. Frankie Montero explained various illegalities involved through a PowerPoint presentation.
Both applications for the SEZs are dated 12 April 2006 and appear to be written by the same person, as you will be able to see at the exhibition what is displayed over here. No inward stamps are present on all the four applications. So one doesn't know whether they are actually given on the 12th or much later. Applications for land are made in lakhs of square meters and granted by amalgamating numerous planned industrial plots which total up to exactly the area applied for. The meeting allotting the land is dated 19th April 2006. That is within a week of the application, which was on 12th April, without even starting the project reports as required with respect to the environment impact, population increase, infrastructure for employees, garbage provision, sewage, power and water requirement, etc.
He also disclosed that the land at Keri was to be handed over to Education Department but instead was allotted to Meditab.
The land at Keri was actually decided to be given to the Education Department. The Cabinet had decided and directed the IDC to transfer the same to the Educational Department for setting up a university. The IDC had resolved to transfer the said land and all necessary procedures were completed and only the handing over the same was to be done. At this stage, the GIDC suddenly decides not to go ahead and resolves not to hand over the land to the Education Department. And within the next few months, the said land is allotted for SEZ.
Another company, Paradigm Logistics and Distribution Private Limited, had even made payments of over Rs 3 crores to GIDC even before the land was allotted to them.
Another company, Paradigm Logistics and Distribution Private Limited, had even made payments of over 3 crores towards allotment of the land, even before the land was allotted to them, which shows that it was taken for granted that this land would be allotted to them.
The SEZ, as per agreement, has to make their own provision for water and power. The government has installed an 11,000 kVA transformer in the Keri SEZ. These companies have begun to illegally bore wells in the allotted land, thereby reducing the water table and the flow of age-old springs in the locality, which are being used and maintained by generations for potable irrigation and other purposes. Speaking to Goa 365, Frankie Montero told us the objective behind the presentation and what he felt about the government's reaction.
The main thing is the land which is acquired for industrial purpose and citing that it is required for public purpose is handed over for SEZs, which is not a 100% public purpose. SEZ is a foreign territory comprising of 65% residential area and 35% industry. So when the land is acquired for industrial purpose, we don't mind them setting up industry, but we are totally against them setting any part of it for residential purpose. That is the form of SEZ, which is an autonomous body, which is like a state within a state. So we don't want it in the form of SEZ, we don't mind them setting up industry.
Father Maverick also stressed that their movement is a peaceful one.
We wouldn't like to react. It is only ours is a peaceful way of protesting against it.
Before we end, here's a reminder of the headlines. PW Minister Churchill Alamau to submit a memorandum to Prime Minister to shift naval base from Dagoli. Fatorpa Panchayat Gram Sabha called to discuss food park at Betul, adjourned to avoid law and order problems. SEZ Virodhi Manch exposes land loot of Goa Industrial Development Corporation. That's all we have for you today. If you have a story that needs to be told or an issue that needs to be highlighted, email us at goa365@readofmail.com or call us at 3290 335. Until then, goodbye and good night.